Alright, quick video, just gonna do a no truth or left behind for Pam and react to Mike a little bit, but this shouldn't be that big of a deal. There's nothing really personal here, but it would clarify a lot of problems that are common problems that people on my channel have. So that's why this isn't a private request, it's just a public request. So I'm just calling it audible because there's nothing here personal from Mike or Pam. So thank you for the shekels, and I'll just react to this. But to me, this isn't that big of a deal. So okay.
Pam. Hey Pink. I sent through some shekis for you.
Thank you for the shekis.
I have been meaning / wanting to email you a couple of times now actually, but I had been holding off to not bother you until you got to the astral chart.
Yeah, dude, you can email me anytime if you have my email. I mean, my cutoff really was Lucy. I mean, I've done stuff for her because her stuff that she asks is more personal. But if you want to send me something more personal to clear up, like the idea of clearing your neuroses is very important for you to quote unquote move on or purify your spirit or actualize it. I mean, that is a necessary step so that you don't get haunted by the ghost of your quote unquote past. Like, think of A Christmas Carol. Like, that's actually a very important step. I clear neurosis for people. I've done it for like 6 people already. All right, that's actually a very important step. So you shouldn't feel bad about bothering me. Like, to me, it's not that big of a deal. Like, trust me. Like, for some people, I've done 3-hour videos for just going through their life story to clear out their neuroses for an quote unquote objective point of view, so they can move on with their quote unquote past trauma. I mean, like, my goal really is when I do that is basically like a quote unquote therapist, but one time only. All right, it should be a one-shot, good and done deal. All right, I've done this for a lot of people. It will help you move on if you care for it.
I have been meaning / wanting to email you a couple of times now actually, but I had been holding off to not bother you until you got to the astral charts, but I do understand that there might be slim chances that you get to them, haha.
When it comes to the astral charts, I'll definitely get to it. It's then it's part of my book list or whatever. It is part of my private requests. I'm trying to blast through as many of the easy private requests as possible. So Tricked by the White Light would be easier for me. Cyberpunk, there's a lot to go through that. I mean, that's like 67 hours of content. So I probably will condense that later and have to rip up clips. So I'm probably going to delay that. Like, this one's going to take too long. Disney Realm is what I'm going to do before I close my channel, really. So Tricked by the White Light, I'm doing to clear up people's fascinations. As for the star charts, I mean, the main reason why I hate doing star charts is because the way I do it, I would have to reveal certain things that I know, like the quote unquote true shape of the earth. A good astrologer is actually, Lavette. She gets all this stuff. When it comes to astrology, she's great. All right, but her interpretations are retarded. All right, like, I'll say that straight up. Like, I always say, these truthers are always saying, the Moon Saturn matrix, and then I'm saying, dude, it's probably the Sun Jupiter matrix, and then Lavette's always saying, it's Jupiter, it's freaking Zeus. Like, that is actually correct, because in classical astrology, it's Demogorgon, whatever, is Jupiter, not Saturn, because Saturn sits on a different strata. So if you're talking about the actual creation, the formation of the physical world, our local sun, the sun that you see in the sky, is considered the sun of the inferior world. All right. Then the sun of the world above that. Look, even in this world stratum that we think of, this terrarium, vivarium, really, you have to look at three parts of Zeus. So Zeus would be Zeus, Zeus, Hades, which we are in, is considered a part of the inferior world. Our sun is the son of the Hades, Zeus, which is the material world of, duality, suffering. Then the world above that would be considered the aspect of Zeus, Poseidon, the humidity, the waters above the firmament. And that sun is the quote-unquote hidden sun in the middle of the quote-unquote our local world verse, whatever, that sits at the North Pole, if you look at it as a term Earth map. And then there's Zeus, which is Zeus of the heavens, abode of the quote-unquote gods of the intellect, the actual stratum structure of how this term was created. of which we reside in. These three aspects of the worlds, it's really how I mean, this even goes in goddamn Freemasonry or Mormonism. The heaven of this sun, then the heaven above that would be the quote-unquote moon, and above that would be the quote-unquote star. This is classical, but even these three aspects are of the inferior world of mortality. Then above that would be of Kronos, who is Saturn, who is locked away in Tartarus. That's why the rings around Saturn are symbolizing the caging of Saturn, because he's locked away in Tartarus, because Zeus exiled him during the Golden Age. These astral beings are both gods and beings. So, and then above that, outside of that, would be Uranus, the world of everything. But then there's also another problem, really, and that is because the astral charts, when I do the astral charts, I don't care about the stars and positions or whatever. I really care about these as being correlation aspects to the aspects of your soul, right? The composite factors of your soul. Okay. Like the problem is if you watch too much SQS, you're gonna be like a Buddhist. This soul isn't really me. It's the you that is not you. Sort of. I mean, it's more nuanced than that. Is it you? No. Is it you? Yes. Okay. Like these composite factors that make up you. Let me get a better chart. So I'll tell you. Like I actually don't like saying this because then I have to reveal to you the Egyptian metaphysics of the soul, which is correct. Oh, what the hell is this? Which is correct. God damn, which chart is it? Okay, look, see, this is why the tropics of Cancer, equator, tropical, whatever. The sun goes around here, middle of the Earth, North Pole. This is the hidden sun, which is the aspect creation of the electromagnetic portaling of this eyeball universe, whatever. I mean, if you really care, you can just read like old ass books. Okay, yeah, this is the composite structure nature of what is quote unquote your sim character, right? But really your sim character does have some importance. Really, that's why you play the game as you are, as an quote unquote experience. I mean, the Buddhists they take it a bit too far, where they throw the baby out with the bathwater and just be like, oh, this isn't me at all. I need to annihilate this and destroy this completely. Ooh, because the Buddhists realized that they wanted to cultivate the idea of samadhi, the cultivation of what is considered the essence, which is the oversoul. Really, and that's what they're really after, which is the everything, the darkness, oblivion, which is the true clear light. So in okay, look, I got to talk about Egyptian metaphysics of the soul real quick. Okay, so in the lower three aspects, I mean, even Levette talks about this, but she doesn't understand what she's talking about. That's why she's always into this new agey stuff. Like, I know the exact process of death, right? Back to the oldest forms of the Egyptian religion, right? In connection with Buddhism, which takes the shortcut key. And Gnosticism is correct in their evaluation of the material world. But really, the farther you go back to the Atlantean stuff, that is correct. They had a very holistic understanding what this place is, which is more helpful, like a video game. So your sim character is composed. It's composed of several parts, but I simplify it by saying it's composed of let's say the lower three aspects. Consider that like the name that you were given, like at birth. All right, you didn't really have a choice in this one. So like for me, it'd be Kevin, right? So Kevin in the Egyptian mythology would be considered the Kaaba. The Kaaba means the shadow or shadow verse or darkness. This is the shadow and the cloak material of the material form. It only cares about the material world. So that's Kevin. I don't have a choice and has to do stuff to exist. All right, this is the trap of the mortality of the inferior world. The upper three aspects is what I would consider the intellect aspects. So the upper three would be it would be called the mind. The mind in Egyptian, understanding the metaphysics of the soul, they would say each part has its own will, its own overmind, but there's the animal mind, and then there's the mind. The mind has a will of its own, and it is often the greatest enemy of the spirit. Like the mind is the enemy of the spirit. That's why the highest intellect people, they have no spirituality really, because it is counterintuitive to the spirit. So like my mind, intellect, which I picked a name for, the astral name, is quote unquote pink elephant. It's this highly autistic lawnmower man that knows everything. All right, but even that is an aspect of the oversoul, which is the piece of the ineffable, unnameable. In Gnosticism, they call it the monad, the quote-unquote true transcendental God that you are really a shadow of, which is sort of true. But really, the Egyptians, they were right. All right. Look, in Egyptian mythology, it was easy for them to tame the body. They didn't see that as the horse. They saw the mind as the horse. Like in Buddhism, they teach you how to break down the mind and realize it's not you, which is true, because the Buddhists, they want to annihilate both they want to annihilate the whole thing, so that they can only go to the Atman, this Atman, which is basically God, right? Buddhism, cultivating of God, being in the Buddha state. The Buddha never lived, therefore the Buddha can never die, is the same in Egyptian mythology as the Osirification of the soul, to reach quote-unquote real immortality. I mean, this is what the Bible's really about, like immortality and the afterlife. Every religion talks about this, because every religion's really about why are we here? What happens when we die? Okay? The Buddhists would say it's an insane game, and we got to go back out the way we came in, through the darkness, which is really the clear light. The Egyptians saw this as which is the same as the Christians, but the Christians, they don't even follow it anymore, really. Because if you look at the Egyptians, from the Egyptians' point of view, the lower three chakras, the test of the lower three chakras is of the Kaaba, of the Kaaba, which is where, the Kabbalists get their name from. Like the Kabbalah is a study of the shadow, so it's like the cultism. But the test of the lower three chakras, or the Kaaba, like let's say Kevin, is the 7 deadly sins and the 7 virtues. The trial of the Aku, which is your astral name spirit, is of the mind intellect. All right, that is taming the most dangerous of the horse. Okay, like that's the wild, bucking black bronco. All right, and it takes a true spirit to tame the mind and the body, so that when this happens, it actualizes the quote-unquote soul. So when the soul goes through judgment, it has to reach the attainment of the Egyptians call this the Osirification of the soul. So like let's say let's say my name's Kevin, right? And then okay, my astral name is Pink Elephant, and then it merges together. So the equivalency of my quote-unquote avatar existence here with my spirit would be like Pink Lotus, and then Pink Lotus goes through the stellar gateway of death. Look, this is in Egyptian mythology. There's a lot to this. Like this is actually true. Buddhism was after the same thing that the old Egyptians were after, which is immortality beyond the veil of tears into the tranquility state, which is the Buddha realms. So in this state, like, oh, Pink Lotus, oh, you go before this thing, you weigh your heart against the feather, and then look, there's a bunch of shit. Even Manly P. Hall talked about this. He's like, how is it possible that these Egyptians could go through the trials? In this day and age, we would fail. So how is it possible that these people are so pure? It's look, if you know exactly what to do, then it's but then again, I do it, but maybe I'm just weird or autistic or something, because I know exactly what I have to do to reach a state of immortality, which is a state in which you go to the Buddha realms, you become a Buddha. In the Egyptians, it would be the Osirification of the soul, which leads you to the land of Lulu, the plains of Amente. Really, they changed it later as the religion got more mainstream for the masses. But this is really what the whole goal is, where people escape the wheel of Dharma. You escape the wheel of Dharma by going through death, to never live again. Which is why Osiris is the god of the dead. All right, in Buddhism, the whole point of being Buddha and reaching nirvana is to master the states of death, so that you can never live and repeat samsara. It's the same thing. So a lot of people get confused, especially with Buddhism, because in Buddhism, people think you annihilate the individual. But even in the Egyptians, they would say that, oh, like let's say, okay, look, let's say I'm Kevin, right? That's my lower three aspects. That is my Kaaba, and then the upper three chakras before the crown would be my Aku. That would be pink elephant, and the merging to actualization, whatever. That would be oh, it's pink lotus. Oh, pink lotus. Oh, you are now. Normally you put the name of quote unquote the transcendental God of death, which is really immortality, before the new name. So it'd be like, oh, Buddha Pink Lotus, that is your new name. I mean, look, that's why they do this whole name crap, right? It makes it easier for your mind to conceptualize. Oh, Buddha Pink Lotus, welcome to the Buddha realms, where you stay here forever and never repeat the life-death recycle, and you pass the test of the weighing of the feather crap. Look, man, well, first of all, just so you know, the final test is the test of consciousness. All right, I'm serious. This is why I hate this whole idea of people holding on to this consciousness. That is, in Egyptian mythology, the final test. All right, there's a lot to this quote-unquote death sequence to reach this state, which is why it is so highly kept secret for the elites. All right, I'm serious about this. I don't even want to talk about this. This is why I hate astral charts, because I have to reveal this stuff. Okay, so in Egyptians, they would be like, oh, let's say if I was Pink Lotus, that's my fully actualized avatar game form, right? My sim character in concert with my form, right? It would be, oh, you are now Osiris, Pink Lotus, which means basically pink. So the Buddha would be one who's awake or dead. Really, it's a weird state. It's think of it as transcendency. So Buddha and Osiris would be transcendency. So it'd be like, oh, transcendent Pink Lotus. That's what it means. That's all it means to reach that state, to reach the Buddha realms, or Alulu, before the fall of man, before Atlantis. That's all it is. There's a lot to this, which is why I haven't talked about this before, really. But if you are interested, it's really the I mean, even the Tibetan Book of the Dead talks about it, that clear light of the true rainbow. Okay, follow the rainbow somewhere over the rainbow. I mean, you get hinted at it all the time, but here is the problem. If you do not pass the test, I mean, just so people know, Egyptians believed in quote-unquote reincarnation or incarnation. If you fail the test, do you know what happens? You get devoured by a crocodile. That crocodile is a symbol of Mother Matter. Your soul gets extinguished or devoured, but not really. What really happens is Mother Matter wraps up the essence of Atmu, that part of you which is immortal, and you play the game again. All right, like the Egyptians, the old Egyptians, they took this very, very seriously. All right, like I take this very seriously. But these days, I don't think anybody takes it seriously, or they're too stupid to figure it out. Like anybody who talks about this in the truth community and doesn't mention the Egyptian stuff or this process, like the whole weighing of the feather, like didn't people watch that movie Gods of Egypt? I mean, that's actually pretty accurate, right? I mean, it was made by the guy who made Dark City. Whatever, dude, I'll talk about that later if I feel like it, but like honestly, like I don't want to talk about that just because it reveals too much of what I really know. Like you'd have to connect Gnosticism, oldest forms of Buddhism, Egyptian, oldest form of Egyptian before I got mainstream, with the masses, and like there's a lot of stuff that can happen, or things you can quote unquote take with you. All right, but whatever. So
I have been meaning/wanting to email you a couple of times now actually, but I had been holding off to not bother you until you got to the astral charts, but I do understand that there might be slim chances that you get to them, haha.
No, I'll definitely do it.
Which again,
I have to check by the white light.
I completely understand. The current videos you have been putting out have been great.
For the record, SQS is right, alright? If you quote unquote cultivate samadhi, purify yourself and reach nirvana, then the water finds its own level and rises. So that's why I don't care personally, but the Egyptians had this down to a science, all right? Which is why all the secret societies follow the Egyptian religion secretly, all right? Like, look, why do you think I've never talked about the Egyptian religion beforehand? All right, there's a lot of stuff to this, like the 42 laws of Mayat. This whole, you do realize that this is where the whole Jeopardy thing comes in, right? where they state their intentions in the negative. Like it's some weird stuff, but it is 100% accurate. But I mean, I'm just letting you guys know. So, but the problem is it's hard to find information on this.
The current videos you have been putting out have been great as well.
Like if you thought the Tibetan Book of the Dead stuff was secret, and trying to crack at the Egyptian Book of the Dead of what it's really saying is was way beyond most people's understanding. So, I mean, first you have to understand the metaphysics, the Egyptian metaphysics of the soul. The problem with the Buddhists is they always say that, oh, it's not really real. The problem is Buddha said yes and no. All right, your experience here is real, but it's not the real you. That's not the part that's quote unquote immortal. The immortal aspect is the Buddha nature, which is what you're trying to cultivate. So if you follow just Buddhism straight as it is, you're basically exiting Disney realm without any balloons or T-shirts or stuffed prizes or a Disney princess. The way I follow it, or the things I'm aware of, you can exit out Disney realm with a bunch of souvenirs, balloons, a Disney princess, whatever you want, alright? This is more of a thought exercise to get it through your mind of what is possible and what is not possible. But the problem is that there's a clear distinction between in the beginning, it'd be more correct into the ethereal darkness of everything, the chaos, cosmic, complete, but then it got warped into the transmigration of the soul through the astral, into the completion of form, which is a different topic. But I'd have to draw that out. But I mean, even when I talk about this, it seems too nebulous. It seems too complicated to really explain to people, to be honest. So, or I don't know if people are really interested, because a lot of the stuff that comes from Christianity is from Egyptian stuff. In fact, everything is pretty much from Egyptian, and then Egyptian's from Atlantis. But then people have this confusion. Like, a lot of people want to save this world. Like Levette says, oh, we're going to get our ethereal mortal bodies, and I'll see you there on the other side, and no suffering, and I could breathe on the water. Look, man, I in the state of now and at death, I am not going to where Levette is going, because I know where that place is. That's like an aspect, a form of quote-unquote heaven in the astral. I am escaping the wheel of Dharma to the Buddha realms. This is a different thing, because there's a clear distinction even in Egyptian religion of what can and can't happen. Like, if you want to hold on to your form, you can. Or if you want to transcend your form, that's even better. There's a big difference between ascension and transcendence. The whole point of this game is to escape the material world in the first place, which is why spirituality is a separate thing. You're trying to break the material cycle of life and death. But whatever. I mean, this is a bit complicated. So
the current videos you have been putting out have been great, as well as your others. I have been learning a lot, but I do know I am still quite behind.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I've gotten through all your videos so far, or
for the record, I think, look, I don't care what you think, from my point of view, you guys are pretty much babies.
I've gotten through all your videos so far, or the ones that were still available up on YouTube when I got there.
I deleted mostly short videos, videos about the modern era, like politics, or revealing certain stuff I know, like about El Presidente and Mr. T. I mean, worst case scenario is that Mr. T wins president. He runs again in 2024, because then I know what game plan they're running, which is the separation, division of the country, bringing in theocracy, and then it'll be like Mad Max world, under the guise of, oh my God, the King Cyrus and God's only savior is coming back in the form of El Presidente and Mr. T, and us Christians need to save America. And when in reality, they're going to break up America and lead to this Mad Max scenario. And then he's going to usher, basically, look, you want to see your rights get taken away? El Presidente and Mr. T 2024. The second coming, all right? That is the worst case scenario. Like, I don't even give a shit about an alien invasion, alright? First of all, the fake alien invasion is going to come from the sky. If there was a real alien invasion, it would come out of the ocean, the water, the unexplored, alright? That's a fact.
I've gotten through all your videos so far, or the ones that were still available up on YouTube when I got there.
Yep.
I am almost midway through SQS. I think.
Yeah,
I restarted all his videos when you mentioned you had restarted.
Yeah, I still got 20 videos of his.
I have only gotten through Jesus and the Lost Goddess, TBOD, Journeys Out of the Body and 3HRS away from finishing Far Journeys.
Yep.
I did start Psychology of the Unconscious.
Psychology of the Unconscious is very difficult. I mean, Carl Jung is pretty much a mystery school. Mystery school intended. I mean, he's very much similar to Plato or these other people I talk about, but that book's a bit difficult. That's like Secret Teachings of All Ages difficult, really. Even these other books, you should go through them, but I mean, the main problem that I see with you in terms of your book selection is that your mind is too chattery, it's too wishy-washy. So in fact, I recommend the book Why Buddhism is True first, so that you understand how your mind works. The whole point of Buddhism is to tame your mind. So, like I always say, if you were born a Christian, and pick a Jesus and the Lost Goddess, but if you can't even control your mind, then you need to read or listen to the book Why Buddhism is True. It's a very good book.
I did start Psychology of the Unconscious after Lost Goddess, but only managed to get to chapter 8 and I dozed off somewhere in the middle of listening. I put it off for now, but I do plan to return to it eventually. As for the astral names, I ended up changing mine pretty quickly after I started your channel from What Is What to Golden Apple Chips.
Yeah, Golden Apple Chips, I understand why you picked that, but just pick Golden Apple.
As for the astral names, I ended up changing mine pretty quickly after I started your channel from What Is What to Golden Apple Chips.
Yeah.
I do have a thing for 3 seconds.
Yeah, 3 seconds, you're just, you must really like 3s and the 33. I mean, I'm going to talk about the Golden Apple Chips, the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence. I mean, I probably will, I'll just explain 33. I mean, I don't know why people just do not understand 33. 3 concentric circles, right? Completion number to the 9, or the Fibonacci sequence. I'm just going to show it to people.
I do have a thing for 3 seconds. I hope I chose wisely. Pink elephant.
Yeah.
You don't have to send me shekels to ask a question, so what's your real questions about existence?
Yeah, you don't have to send me shekels. You can just ask me random questions, but it depends how difficult it is. Which means I might not answer it, but I mean, this is just simple questions. So.
You don't have to send me shekels to ask a question, so what's your real questions about existence? The money was because I said I would and I wanted to keep on that word.
Thank you, Pam.
It has been bugging me that I haven't sent a little something your way from what I was receiving on my end.
I mean, in general, that's why I have donations up, because before I didn't accept donations because I didn't want to receive anything, so people accused me of trying to steal their illusion from them, which is actually technically true. Even if you understood how the Egyptians viewed charity or receivership, they paid homage to their masters. Or, like for example, my master Warren Pollock, I bought all his stuff. I spent money on him even when I was like broke in like 1920 during the economic collapse time, whatever. SQS, I just sent him $150 because I didn't know that he accepted PayPal. My Yoda master, I given him more money in my entire life, because in the old religions, the key to winning, which is the reason why Atlantis fell, is responsibility. Alright, this quote-unquote equivalent exchange. So I always try to quote-unquote exchange fairity between me and what knowledge I get. So I mean, I'll probably give SQS more money after I finish all his works again, because SQS is, on my 3rd listening of SQS, it's really cleared up a lot of stuff, and it makes me want to go through the Eastern stuff myself. So but that's more of a personal thing. It depends on how serious you take this. I mean, I take it very seriously. A lot of people, it's flyby stuff until they get more into it. And I understand people can't quote-unquote donate. Like for a long time when I was into this stuff anyways, I was just a random person, anonymous, afraid to post or whatever, or even give shekels. But then one day you may want to quote-unquote equalize yourself out or zero yourself out. I mean, for me, I'm always trying to reduce the state of karma or action to 0. So I mean, that's a personal thing for me, because I take this very seriously. Like when it comes to the weighing of the feather upon the scales, and I place my heart like in the Egyptian what happens at death, that is where the life review is, where you stand in front of the quote-unquote God of the dead, which is really your God-dead aspect form of you, the Atmu of you. This is where the New Agers get the life review stuff, But the way that they do it, it's like they don't understand the concept of the weighing of your heart against a feather upon the scales. There's a lot to this exacting process that happens at death to see whether or not you can even gain entrance to where you want to go. Like, I mean, whatever, dude. That's why I say I never tell people to bank good karma, all right, or do bad things. I say, you gotta reduce your good karma and bad karma to 0, all right?
It has been bugging.
I say that for a reason. I'm trying to get to a very specific place, all right, which is the Buddha realms.
It has been bugging me that I haven't sent a little something your way from what I was receiving on my end. I know I don't have to, but it just feels like the right thing to do. The not bothering you part is because I don't know. I don't really internet anymore, and I do.
Yeah, dude, internet sucks now anyways. There's nobody that even makes content anymore that I watch.
The not bothering you part is because I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't really internet anymore, and I do think that I would just ramble on about nothing, and that just wastes my time and yours.
You should really train your mind first to still the chatter in your mind. But the problem is, I mean, I've already seen your astral chart. Your astral chart, there's a lot of aspects of you which are in Scorpio. Even your ascendancy is in transformative aspect of Scorpio, the Phoenix, because that is of the eagle, really. So I understand this whole individuality problem that you have, and like, really, I mean, you're a very like, how do I say this? Flippy person, very cold, but you know what you're looking for, if that makes sense. But I haven't done your astral chart yet. And in terms of doing astral charts, I look at them like they're minions. Like, imagine this is the movie Minions or Despicable Me, right? Every aspect of your chart is a minion that gives you an attribute upon your soul's quote-unquote journey, and then it is there to work for the boss. Yes, boss. All right, look, like, let's say the power minion, all right? He has the ring of power, right? His power is to amplify a certain part of the astrological wheel, which gives you a characteristic for the master, which is Drew from Despicable Me. It's easier to look at these astrological beings or gods or figures as granting you a skill aspect, which is given to the master, which is the Atmu, the immortal aspect essence of you, and then it culminates in semiotics and creates this human avatar sim character, which the Atmu, the spirit, whatever, is using as an experience here, a vehicle to experience this place, which for a lot of people it is inferior. It is of matter, but it's like playing a game on nightmare difficulty, right? It's the easiest way to get to, you know, it's like power leveling, right? Like, there's a lot to this idea of a game.
The not bothering you part is because I don't know. I don't really internet anymore, and I do think that I would just ramble on about nothing, and that just wastes my time and yours. Probably my...
Yeah, I mean, that's probably an aspect of it. What is it, your sun sign? Your sun sign's in Capricorn, so like, I understand your personality anyway, so...
Probably my biggest issue is I don't have a question, or I don't know how to pick one, because I know eventually the question doesn't matter. Or the answer just randomly comes from something or someone or whatever.
Yeah, the answer comes when you incorporate, well, first, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, I do find that as a thing where people don't know what question to ask, because these things are so vague and nebulous, which is why, for me personally, I think it's actually quite dangerous for people to find out that someone like me exists, right? Like, your life would be a lot different if you didn't think someone like me existed, to see the vast difference. But to me, that's why I simplify it down as much as possible for people. And you've already watched all my videos, so a lot of questions already got answered anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. The only thing I have to clarify for you is the SQS problem, because I mean, you know, you don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater, which is what he does when it comes to this whole astral traveling and soul aspect, which is a problem with the obvious problem with the Buddhists. I mean, the Egyptians had it much more accurate, that this is some sort of experience, which it is, right? A Buddhist would say this is an insane experience because they're anti-natalists, but your goal, your real goal really, is to overcome the prison of matter, which is the Rosicrucian goal, which is why the rose is pinned against the cross by the thorns. Your goal is to liberate the rose from the thorns, which is why I always say it's like giving the rose as a gift to Sophia, right? So you can walk out and gain the aspect back into the quote-unquote immortality.
Or the answer just randomly comes from something or someone or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the fact that I am used to going over my inner demon shit inside my head on my own.
Yeah, that's because you have a lot of Scorpio aspects.
Or the fact that I am used...
I mean, people treat Scorpio like they're psychopaths or sociopaths, but it's because the Scorpio has been demonized. It's really the eagle, and its transformative aspect is where your fucus resides, which is really, to me, I relabel that as the phoenix. But to me, that's why you are the way you are. Your ascendancy is in, Scorpio. So, or technically, the phoenix.
Or the fact that I am used to going over my inner demon shit inside my head on my own. It's all I ever really know, Yeah,
this is your mind is not trained. This is the minion aspect of your mind, thinking and acting in a neurotic fashion. It is very important for you to clear your neuroses. Like, trust me, a lot of people can testify to this.
Or the fact that I am used to going over my inner demon shit inside my head on my own.
Yeah, my neuroses
It's all
is
I
zero.
ever really know,
I never do that.
And I eventually carry on like it never was there.
Yeah.
Some sticks, but some I manage to wipe away clean. Just like the astral chart thing, and it doesn't really matter now.
The astral charts, it does matter and it doesn't matter. All right, like for me, I always say it doesn't really matter to me because I've already mastered it. In the movie Mr. Nobody, there's the master where he's like, I know myself like the back of my hand. It's like he knows his astral chart like the back of his hand. He has mastered his sim avatar character and can exert the full extent of the sim avatar character to manipulate reality and get whatever he wants in reality. But the problem is when he does that and knows his astral chart, he gets bored as soon as he reaches his goal, which is why his higher self spirit in the movie Mr. Nobody said, on that day I made a very foolish decision. I said I would get married to the first girl I saw. I would get a big house and be rich and have a Lamborghini and have 2 kids and a pool. But he never faced his problem, which is his existential problems of wanting, which is why the spirit realized that his sim avatar character did a very foolish thing. But the sim avatar character fully exerted the will to power to master and manipulate reality, which is something you can do once you realize your avatar sim character. Anyways, the avatar sim character is your vehicle here, which is why you should never throw your avatar sim character away. Like me, Kevin, I mean, it does a lot of stuff. I just try to chill out. I'm actually kind of, megalomaniacal. I want to troll the world and I have the power to do it, but I'm holding myself at bay for the moment to help people. I mean, if I really broke down the astral charts, I could just tell you how to live the rest of your life. But the problem is I'm taking your suffering away, like in the movie Mr. Nobody. Like, you need to pay attention to the scene with Mr. Nobody where the spirit says, I made a very foolish decision, because you need to be working in concert with your spirit, with your sim avatar character, to quote-unquote win the game, which is the game of Dharma. The game, it may seem like it's strange or the rules don't make sense, but the rules make very clear sense once you get a fuller picture of it. And the objective of the game is to, purify the spirit of its other aspects, to tame the minions, like in Despicable Me or the minions, who are there to destroy and bring down the master anyways. There's a lot to this idea, by the way. So.
Just like the astral chart thing, and it doesn't really matter now. Because of the always wanting to know me and receive some kind of validation, but yet what I have come to learn is this me that I have wanted to know isn't even me. Sorry if my email...
It's yes and no. So basically when you quote-unquote die, your matter material self dies anyways. This after image that you get, that your spirit keeps, which is why when you quote-unquote die, you have a magical ethereal body and look like you, is because the Atmu, the spirit, imposes itself against the sim avatar character what it was and takes on that aspect. Like I always tell my people, I'm like a Legend of Zelda light fairy being because I'm identifying with the spirit. So when I die, I'm gonna be like a Legend of Zelda light fairy being with a Pokemon card that says Kevin, which is representing my Kaba, that is my lower 3 aspects, that is the consciousness. And it's gonna have another Pokemon card that says Pink Elephant, which represents my intellect, my Aku, and then it's going to merge into that and create a super Pokemon that's like a Pink Lotus, and then that Pink Lotus is going to touch into the Atma, the spirit, and it's going to be Buddha Pink Lotus, and then go through the Stellar Gateway, through the Gateway of Immortality. So you still retain your quote-unquote somewhat of a individuality in relationship to the immortality aspect of the everything, the no separation. People get way too hung up on this because this is very strange. It's anti-intuitive, really. But, you know, to me, it's simple.
Sorry if my email I sent was cold. I am pretty closed off these days.
Yeah, don't worry, I mean, it's cool. I mean, you're a cold person anyways. Well, yeah, because, yeah, you have that. Yeah, you're just a cold person. I mean, this is cool. Like, it's not a big deal. I mean, a lot of people like that. So, I mean, I'm able to be around cold people a lot easier. So my personality type is an INTJ. So just be aware of that.
I am pretty closed off these days, and when I am open, I know it's just my character.
Yeah, like I show affection by spending time with people. That's it.
I am pretty closed off these days, and when I am open, I know it's just my character playing, and that annoys me after the fact.
Yeah, but look, you gotta remember, you're in a video game right now, alright? There's a chariot model, alright? There's the horse, there's the driver, and then there's a spirit and VIP coach. You're gonna go nowhere by attacking your horse or your driver, alright? You gotta work together, alright? Because what I'm getting right now is that from watching too much SQS, you're gonna think that, oh, the driver's not really me. It is you, sort of, alright? The problem is the driver has a possibility of annihilation or extinction upon the gateways of death anyways, which is why we get this recycling thing, alright?
I am pretty close.
Because the driver is there to serve the spirit, alright, not itself, which is, I mean, if the driver serves itself, the ego consciousness of the intellect, then it gets devoured and recycled back because the Atmu, the VIP, was sleeping in a stagecoach and wasn't paying attention.
I am pretty closed off these days, and when I am open, I know it's just my character playing, and that annoys me after the fact.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Pink Elephant. BTW, it really is my fault that you don't know how to pick an astral name.
Yeah, I just explained
Obviously,
it.
for you it should
Kappa.
be Golden Apple or Golden Trinity, or, personally I prefer Golden Apple if you understood the meaning of the story of the Golden Apple and Paris, which caused the Trojan War.
Okay, the Golden Apple, what was the story? I have it here, but the sourcing is bad. Like, people never get the story right.
Daughter of Erebus and
okay, look, there's a party by the gods, alright? And then but basically Eris, Chaos, wasn't invited. Look, Chaos, Cosmic, Complete, that's a good thing. The apple is the golden apple of the Hesperides trees, which is also the golden apple from the tree from the Norse mythology of Yggdrasil. It is also the golden apple of the Garden of Eden. This golden apple represents a symbol of immortality, which is the golden apple. Also, I mean, look, you've been programmed with this idea of forbidden knowledge crap with the apple your whole life, but in reality, the truth shall set you free. And the way you liberate yourself into immortality is with the truth, and that's what the golden apple represents. So the way you reach immortality of the spirit is with the truth, which is the golden apple. And the golden apple, I mean, the apple itself represents as the Vesica Pisces and a representation of the material world, and it's like, that's why the seed is there or whatever. Look, the golden apple also represents to the golden ratio, right? This Fibonacci sequence. Like, the monad is the one. You came in through the navel. Ooh, it's a spiral mystery. So 1. Look, this is you in your theta state as a baby. Oh, look at you, it's 5 when you went to kindergarten. Oh my god, look at you at 8. When you started middle school, now it's you at 13. Look, this is also in Harry Potter. They went to school at 8, and then there's whatever. I mean, just Harry Potter follows age as well, and so does the school system. This is how your consciousness or your sim avatar character forms anyways. Oh, look, you're at 13. Oh my god, you just started high school. Oh my god, 21. You're a real adult, the age of majority. You can now go drink. Oh my god, 33. Look, this is the golden ratio. This is the formation, cycle, and completion of the golden ratio upon its halfway cycle, which is the peak cycle in which you're supposed to reach your maximum state at 33 or 34, really. Depends on how you count it. So look, long story short, look, this is why they brainwash you or force you into the school system, alright? The system got you, alright, from birth to death, alright? or whatever. I mean, this is kindergarten and school. This is why the school systems are structured at these ages, because they know the formation of consciousness. And then an important age is actually 30 or 29, because then you're supposed to have to do the 3-year thing. Like Jesus was 30 and 33, 30 being also the symbol of Sanskrit, which represents the waking state, 31, the dreaming state, which is 32, and then the dreamless state, 33, at the part of death. So this also be the idea of reaching initiate, adept, master, finishing the golden ratio cycle, which is why certain dates are very important. But even if you don't finish that by that, your cutoff date really is 55. By that, the formation of your avatar solidifies, which is why I don't help boomers anymore. People who are over 55 are basically, they've crystallized their mind or sim avatar character, and nothing changes, which is why when old people are old, past a certain age, they get stuck in their ways. But there is a small chance that you have a midlife crisis at 55 and your spirit kicks in. All right, this is when your spirit kicks in. And at 89, if you reach that age, you realize that you wasted your life. All right, they're getting trapped with the system. I mean, look, man, these wizards, I mean, they know this. Right? This is the golden ratio of the Fibonacci sequence. Look at these ages: kindergarten, high school, age of maturity, the 34, 33, whatever, depends on how you count it. Look, that's very important. So I do recommend you pick the name Golden Apple, because it represents your wanting desire to reach immortality, which is really you going back to the death state, the unborn state.
Obviously for you it should be Golden Apple or Golden Trinity, or, personally I prefer Golden Apple if you understood the meaning of the story of the Golden Apple and Paris, which caused the Trojan War.
Yeah, as for the meaning of Paris and the true story of the Trojan War, look, Eris wasn't invited by the gods, so she gave them a golden apple. On it said Calliste, to the fairest of them all, or beautiful, whatever. So they had to, so that's why the gods were fighting over it, because these gods are impetuous. So what did they do? They picked a human, Paris, the pair of eyes, the 2 eyes, to see what is fair, to basically decide who gets the golden apple. He was given the role of the picking of the beauty pageant because Paris himself represents man, and he was the most honest of men because of his works beforehand. He was considered fair already, so the apple to the fairest of them all went to Paris to decide. But because man in its fallen state, when it gave the apple, I mean, Hera offered it power. This is offering man power, intellect, or these are the three desires of man: power, wisdom, or sex. So what did Paris do? Because he's a young man, he chose the lowest form, which is oh my god, it's Helen, because he was thinking with his dick. Right? This is in relationship to the 3 thinking aspects of you. Isn't that in goddamn Wizard of Oz also? Whatever. I mean, there's a lot to this. The correct answer to for the Trojan War. I mean, the Trojan War happened, which represents the fall of man. And look, there's a lot to the Iliad in Greek mythology. But Paris, when he got the apple to the fairest of them all, he should have given it to none of them, right? Because they were trying to bribe him. The whole point of him being the judge of the contest was that he was fair, right? But he was bribed by the wanting desires, and him receiving Helen as a representation of the fall of man because of the desires offered by the quote-unquote gods. There's a lot to the story. If it was me, if it was me in Paris' state, I would have taken an apple for myself, and the apple represented the truth, which is the truth to fairness and beauty, which is the truth. It is responsibility. It's doing what is quote-unquote right, not being bribed. That is the whole story of the allegory of the Trojan War. I mean, that's why they tell you the goddamn story of the Trojan War over and over and over. And even in the Trojan War, even this whole Achilles, with the whole poison through the Achilles heel, like the heel of the snake, or the snake being pressure upon the heel of Jesus. There's a lot to the Iliad and the Odyssey, right, that no one really understands, because people are too stupid these days. Like, this would be more of Platonic Greek mysteries that no one has any understanding anymore.
Haha, yet I kind of figured I'd have to drop the chips part.
Oh shit, it's getting late.
I came up with a few, but they didn't feel right. I didn't want to make the...
Yeah, either pick Golden Trinity, Golden Ratio, or Golden Apple. But I prefer for you to pick Golden Apple. The reason why you want to separate from yourself, from the group, is because I mean, this has to go back to your star chart. Your star chart is your individuality is represented through Uranus, and it's representing sitting through, was it Scorpio, Ophiuchus? You have too much stuff that is in Scorpio, so you always try to be the edgelord out of the group. So
I didn't want...
I mean, it's very important for you to know your astral chart, so you know how you're going to act in certain situations. Like, I always know how I'm going to act.
I didn't want to make the obvious higher color choices nor an animal.
Too bad,
Typical character me of wanting not to be part of the group, and I especially didn't want to go pink since my given name already means that.
What?
So the cereal Golden Apple
pink.
Crisps came to mind because I'm weird like that. So I dropped the crisps for chips, viewing this as a game and me at a casino cashing in my tokens to get the F out of this place.
I mean, you want to get the F out of this place through reaching immortality by shedding the material, immortal form of you, which is Mother Matter. And you do that through the Golden Apple, which is represented as immortality. So for you to be thinking of cashing in chips, why don't you just consume the Golden Apple, the Hesperides trees, which is what Hercules was after anyways, and reach immortality the easy way, right? You've already hit your quote-unquote true heart's desire subconsciously with the Golden Apple, because that's what the Golden Apple represents. It is the true symbol of Aletheia.
So I dropped the crisps for chips, viewing this as a game and me at a casino cashing in my tokens to get the F out of this place. And no, I didn't know of this story, so I will look into it, and hopefully I am not too much dummy to not understand it, because I would like to keep the name.
I don't worry, I
guess I have some more material added to my plate to go through amongst the other stuff, but once I have a clear question in mind I will definitely ask.
Yeah, but I mean, this has to go with the golden ratios and stuff. I mean, that's why the secret societies always use this idea of color of gold anyways.
I guess I have some more material added to my plate to go...
I mean, this is also an alchemy. Philosopher's Stone, Golden Apple, transmutation of lead into gold, lead being the dead material body into the quote-unquote living, but it's really inverted, so this is also true.
I guess I have some more material added to my plate to go through amongst the other stuff, but once I have a clear question in mind I will definitely ask. Mike.
Okay. Alright, so that takes care of Pam. I gotta hurry up with Mike though, but Pam is a newbie, which is why I'm doing this. So, but if you have any more private questions, you can email me and I'll do private requests, which is unlisted videos for you. But this was very general, and so it's okay for public use, by the way. So, but I hope I wasn't too mean to you. Like, I always consider a gift, which is the truth. That's why I say or do think the way I do in that manner. I'm not trying to be nice or being fluffy or fluff it up. I just want to tell you straight to your face so that you move along faster on your journey.
Just started rewatching the Existence video and noticed something funny that you pointed out, which I had missed before.
Yeah.
When Ted and Allegra are in the car at the start and he asks how she knew his name. She says, "You're labeled." It happens the same way my dream Sophia/love entity said it a while back. Can't believe I didn't catch this explicitly until now, haha. She sat me down and explained I wasn't playing the game enough and was labeled, so she had to leave.
Just so that you know, if you're a guy, you have a feminine aspect of you. I mean, when I quote-unquote astral travel, I see my female version of me, which is my quote-unquote other me. Look, you take turns, alright? Like these children games, I mean, there's a lot of truth in them. Hide and go seek. What are you hiding and go seeking? You're seeking your quote-unquote other self, which is your feminine aspect to reach back to your one state, right? Which is why people have a desire to mate with the other sex, because what they're really looking for is their other aspect, right? Like I see my female version of me when I quote-unquote astral travel, right? Like this is what this is. Even Levette talks about this, where look, even when you quote-unquote die or incarnate in the next form, or this transmigration of the Atma with the spirit, which isn't the transmigration of the soul, which is why you forget what you were, I would be a female in the next life, or whatever, if I lose, which I'm not gonna lose, but let's say hypothetically that would be the case. This is natural.
She sat me down and explained I wasn't playing the game enough and was labeled, so she had to leave. Anyway, since then I've had a few experiences. A while back I had one where I felt the vibrations / hemisync Monroe talks about and got scared and
yeah, that's the zoom, that weird buzzing fly noise. So I mean, I try not to do it because it's a bit too loud, but if you listen to Pink Elephant and Prisoners of Earth, I do it very well in that one. Like I remember when I did it, Tien, it's like his soul or magical etheric body spirit thing got expelled from his form material, which is his cage.
A while back
That's a real
I had
thing.
one where I felt the vibrations / hemisync Monroe talks about
like
and got scared and woke myself out of it.
Yeah.
A couple uninteresting dreams where I was lucid but still took it serious. For example, after I noticed I was dreaming, I deciding to stop the adventure to put my shoes on because it was cold.
Hey.
Cold feet once I'm lucid. Upside down face. One notable...
I mean, why would you feel sensation and if you were in that state anyways? That's more of a mortality thing.
One notable thing that happened and I felt uncomfortable about occurred sitting in bed the same way as when I got the hemisync vibrations. A white smokish apparition face appeared in front of me. I was in a mid-sleep paralyzed state. It didn't look scary or anything, but I got excited and just said the word die, then it went away.
I mean, that's what a barbarian would say, just to say die to something that is unknown. But I mean, that's your natural prey mind acting in that self-defense mechanism. It probably didn't know what was happening on. It just knew that you were an animal, so it just moved on.
It didn't look scary or anything, but I got excited and just said the word die, then it went away.
I mean, but that's pretty cool, though. You saw that commie thing from Interface, so, I mean, that's a real thing.
Wasn't very proud about that. Anyway, I've been meaning to quit drinking and get back to monk mode so I can hopefully stop chickening out, but my damned workload keeps piling up week after week.
Look, I can't blame you, alright? If you work a real job, I mean, look, life is stressful, right? But for me personally, I've quit coffee, drinking, whatever. But then again, now I'm in super mode, right?
Wasn't very proud about that. Anyway, I've been meaning to quit drinking and get back to monk mode so I can hopefully stop chickening out, but my damned workload keeps piling up week after week. Unsurprisingly. Not much to say, just thanks for the effort. Appreciate it.
Well,
Michael.
No problem. So I would like to everybody to thank Mike and Pamela for this back to basics where I just do a react. Alright, so you guys, I have to upload pretty soon, so I'll probably see you on the weekend. But I mean, the weekend is still going to be tricked by the white light. I just want to get that out of the way. But I've actually talked a lot about more than I should have of the quote-unquote process of death. But whatever, man. I mean, look, who else is going to talk about this? Like, no one really. I mean, look, you know, the New Agers, I mean, they're goddamn ridiculous. Or even the Truthers, they have no idea what they're talking about. I mean, that's why I'm so confused by Levette. She must not know the deeper mysteries of the Egyptian stuff. But her astrology is good. So, I mean, I have watched her latest videos. As for Matt, I mean, what's he doing? Doing half movie reviews? I'm so confused. Whatever, dude. I'll see you guys on the weekend. So, bye.